Hi, I'm Vicki Haskins. Welcome to the High Note Podcast.
So, Vicki, how is it going?
It is going fantastic. I feel like I'm a real celebrity here with you guys.
You are.
You are.
In our eyes, you're definitely.
No doubt.
I am not. I feel like I am in like royalty here.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we will say this: you're actually, well, I guess Billy plays music, but you're actually the first non-musical guest connected with music and with
yes, because I cannot sing, nor do I play anything.
Oh, we were going to have you sing. We were going to
tiptoe
through the tulips.
I got the studio ready and everything.
That's right. He's been here for hours slaving getting it ready.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, but this is going to be cool because me and Hank personally know you because you've booked us, but we've worked together. But it's really cool to see the other side of just not from the musician's point of view, but also somebody who has to book musicians and schedules and just it's a mammoth of a job.
It is, and I'm gonna go back, way back, Jesse, to when you worked at the bank.
Please
and
do.
I called you in 2015 to come and play for Scarlet Pearl's grand opening on December 9th.
That's right.
And you had to tell me, let me call you back. I don't remember exactly how I located you at that bank, but I did. That relationship was born from that one phone call and you coming in. And remember, we had a small stage back by the PRL bar.
That's right.
And you stood there, may God bless you, for hours. And you sang your heart out, and it was so amazing.
That's great.
And from that was our steakhouse. Entertainment was born on Friday and Saturday nights. You came in there and entertained our guests. And then we had a hurricane. Go figure. In October of 2017, I'd lie, September of 2017. And out of that, Butler's was born with Mr. Hank.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he sang while we were all waiting for the hurricane to pass.
Yes.
And because it was just us. It was just the Scarlet Pearl family.
And the VIPs
small group.
that we had.
Yes,
the
it was just
there.
a small group. He started singing, and from that, we started adding him to Butler's, and then Butler's has grown from there, from just Fridays and Saturdays to the steakhouse everyday entertainment, and Butler's Friday through Sunday. It's just amazing.
That is amazing.
When we get so nostalgic about that. But you're right, booking is, if you don't sing and you're booking an area like Scarlet Steaks and Seafood or Butler's Bar, it's like a game of chess.
You're a juggler.
Yes, it truly is, because the materials that are in and near Butler's is completely different from the materials and the furnishings that are inside the steakhouse.
True. Yes.
And how you guys sound. And I mean, boy, you guys just set the bar so high for anyone else coming in.
That's great.
That we have to break in, because we do have to break them in.
Well, Vicki coming here, she said that she felt like a celebrity. I feel like we feel like celebrities just from those kind of words. Like, it's really cool that you can go back. And I remember being at the bank and getting that call from you. And I was singing, but it was very sporadic. And I had this, I always tell people I got my college degree, so I got this job at the bank. I thought I was going to make a big bucks, but it was like not the big bucks. And I kept thinking, man, there's got to be a break. And then Vicki calls. And then I was like, can I do this? And I was like, let's just give it a shot. And then I still have the picture of the phone on my phone of the Scarlet Pearl, totally empty, brand new. And I'm sitting there, and I just took a picture before thousands of people started circling around the playing the floor. And then that's when you got me into the steakhouse, and I met the owners and Luann, and it was really cool. And then I remember when Hank comes on board, and I'm just like, wow, it's so different, but it works so well. And now, even birthed out of that, the High Note podcast burst out.
That's
of that.
right.
You got to think about that.
Birth to another thing.
Yes.
That's right. It's out of that came this. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty awesome. That's
That
pretty
It really
is
is. So
awesome.
you're, we
right.
actually have the guest today, Vicki, is actually the one who got me and Hank together.
Yes.
So that's why we are doing this.
Yes.
And
we became friends.
We became very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We're all family. We're the
That's right.
Scarlet
Family.
Pearl family.
That's
Look
right.
at us.
That's right.
That's
Oh
right.
my gosh. Let's hold hands.
But I mean, I'll tell you, like booking wise, like I wanted to play with bands and things like that, but my dad always ushered me from bringing people onto the schedule and saying, hey, you know, if you bring 1, 2, 5 people on, that's different schedules, that's different ingos that you have to deal with. And so from you booking, like that's not even just a band, that's like getting it, like you have to have somebody playing for a certain day or several days. And if somebody gets sick, or if something happens, you have to go back, and it's very impressive how there's always somebody there. It's always and there's always entertainment in there, and y'all have made it work, because it's not like you have to set up this huge stage and have these bands every weekend. You've made it work with solos, duos, and I think it's really, really cool.
Well, another thing about the Scarlet Pearl is that it's a very comfortable place to play music / work, and we know what it is. The musicians know what it is and what to expect, and you know, from the VIPs down to the casual players, or just people that come in that don't play and just want to come and listen to music or have a drink or eat some good food. It's a very, very comfortable place for them as well, and it all adds up. I think it all comes together with that. That's very cool.
It does. And Hank, you're part of that. You helped Butlers grow into this fabulous area that are, whether they're VIP players, like you said, or the casual player, or just the Gulf Coast visitor that stops in, where they come have a quick bar food bite to eat, have a couple of cocktails, and they get to cut the rug with you singing right there.
Yes.
And it's really created a lot of friendships. I think you've noticed that.
I have, and I was going to bring this up. It's been more than once that has happened, and long-lasting friendships from this. We had now some really good friends from Canada that were coming down, and they were looking at specifically coming to the Gulf Coast, and were looking for music, places to listen to music, and what kind of music. And the powers that be had it where my name popped up first at the Scarlet Pearl. And so they came to see me, and Ivan and Twyla, and got to be good friends with Lori and me. And to this day, we still communicate. They haven't been able to come down because of health reasons and because of the pandemic and that kind of thing. But that's another thing about the Scarlet Pearl, and another thing about how warm the room is. And thankfully for me, I was able to fit in with what they wanted. I was the kind of music they wanted and all. And that's happened more than once. And I think that is just great. So it's a personal thing as well as a business thing for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for you as well, Jesse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had a gig last night at Gulfport Yacht Club, and a lot of people were asking me, you know, when are you playing at the Pearl and things like that? And I just said, go to my website. My schedule's listed. But people have learned that that's, you know, if you want to come see what I do, it's mainly at the Pearl. That's become, I'll call it my home base. And I've gained so many relationships, including with Hank, but like some of the VIP players, like, you know, they're some of the nicest people. Like they're friends. They're friends. And you see these people every weekend, and it's like become, me and you don't have like a regular job where we clock in and we, you know, have all these coworkers. Our coworkers are the servers and the bartenders and the guests as well.
And management.
And management, of course. But it's really, really cool to gain those relationships that would have never formed.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Pearl, just to toot its horn, because it deserves it, like as a musician, we want gigs. We don't want to leave money off the table, and we're trying our best to keep going. But there are certain places that I'm not going to name, of course, that you don't want to play.
Right.
And Scarlet Pearls is one of those ones you want to play.
Yes.
You want to be like, okay, if I can even just play there a couple of times, that's unfortunate. But if you can call it your home base, that's like an honor, like straight up. Like that's a good thing going. And like when your family's behind you and people who come see you at other places, and they're excited for you because you're at the Pearl. That's a statement of what that casino has brought, not just to D'Iberville, but to the whole Gulf Coast.
I agree. And to me, that the steakhouse is the Jesse room.
Well, the steakhouse, I've always told people this, because some people will come up to me, and this happened at the yacht club last night. Like, people are chattering, people are talking, and so you have some people who love that. I love that. But you'll also have guests being like, I wish they would be quiet so I can hear you. But I always tell them it is an atmosphere thing. It's not like me sitting on a stage. What's that place called? You just mentioned it in Biloxi.
Ground Zero?
Ground Zero. Ground Zero is like a show. Like, they got the stage, the lights, people are there to listen. But like, if the service is off, if the food tastes bad, or if I sound bad, if one of those things falters, somebody's not having a good time.
Yeah.
But if all three of those work, that's good reviews, that's loyal customers, that's building, players up, things like that. And so
word of mouth.
Yeah. So like the bartender Max, like if he's on and the servers are on, the food's good and I'm good, people are having a great time. And I love that because it feeds my energy when I'm singing.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. People don't realize little things. This is something, I don't know, you may not know. I talked to Jesse about it, but sometimes it's very hard when you're playing and you feel like nobody's listening to you. A friend of mine that I played with many years ago told me this. He goes, watch their feet.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, because somebody could be engaged and you don't know what they're talking about. It could be something very serious or something, or lifelong friends getting back together, or whatever the case may be, something to an extreme, possibly. But if they're sitting there and that foot's tapping, they hear you. They might not be giving you your undivided attention, but they hear you. Or you can tell just body language, people. And that has been a really big help at times because, you're an amenity for all intents and purposes. You're there to accent, like the Scarlet Pearl. You're there to accent the gaming. You're there to accent the meals, the food, the conversation. The experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're fulfilling that.
Yes.
That
so know your place
experience.
and understand what it is. It's not me. And it shouldn't be that. So you should be helping and a part of the team.
Yep. We're all a part of this big team. Didn't you play, speaking of Ground Zero, weren't you there last night?
Last night I was, yes.
How was that?
It was great. It's
now,
great.
you've played there several times,
I
haven't
have.
you?
It's a great room to play. And like Jesse said, it's apples and oranges to what we're talking about with the Pearl. It is a listening place. And I mean, there's still conversation going on. It's not like, they paid $50 to get in and listen to poor old me. Poor things. That would be a swindle. but it does have that ambiance to it. And it's a good room. Lee's done a good job over there, and the sound people, Reed and Mick, are great, and the whole staff. It's a very warming place.
It is.
And they're also one of your...
They are.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they are one of our community partners, and we are just very proud to always support our local community partners and venues. And we do that through our rewards kiosk. We have certain partners that we do add on there, and our guests that earn unlimited comp dollars can spend those comp dollars at our local partners. And
That's
they're all,
great.
it's such a huge benefit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some things that we don't have inside Scarlet Pearl, and we want to be able to extend that experience, to our guests and have them play with us so that they can spend their comp dollars at Ground Zero or walk-ons, or, we have a number of huge partners on our kiosk that we just welcome everyone to, of course, scroll through. But, I'm so glad that out of all of this, you were able to build that relationship with Ground Zero.
Yes.
And,
yes, it came from the Scarlet Pearl.
Yeah, making all these friendships and moving along like that.
Well,
it's
that's
wonderful.
where it all interconnects, It's like,
It does.
all the business work. See what happens when you work together rather than against each other. I mean, and a lot of people have, unfortunately, that attitude of, well, it's me or nobody, that kind of thing. But if you work together, it's, that old cliche, that adage, it's a beautiful thing.
I mean, as a responsible business partner in this local community, you have to embrace the community that you're in. And not only by supporting those local, venues that are nearby, but also through community partnerships with charities. Scarlet Pearl strongly believes in being a responsible community partner and always, lifting up our charities and making sure that all of our charitable dollars stay locally. Like we're huge supporters of American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, Red Cross, but we also want to make sure that the dollars that we give to these national agencies stay here locally and provide services to our community members. Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence, So Strong, Jubilee Haven. I mean, I have a list that is as long as my arm of the charities that we support that are so deserving to have everyone in the community embrace and give back to them, because they help us, whether it's directly or 6 degrees of separation. Someone has had a heart attack, someone has had breast cancer, someone has been through spousal abuse, someone may have been trafficked, whether it's human trafficking or labor trafficking. There's so many degrees that someone that had this happen to them. And it's just so important to make sure that we share those agencies amongst all the businesses, whether they're corporate or locally owned, and that they give back. It's just one of our pillars at Scarlet Pearl.
I think that's a great thing. And unfortunately, there's been some members of the team that have been affected in ways that you're speaking of. And to reach out and help them and help others. They don't have to just be family. They can be, just compassion for human beings 100%. Says a lot about the Scarlet Pearl, and I think that's great.
Well, we're so lucky we get to work at Scarlet Pearl. We have the most wonderful owners,
yes,
Mr. Bob and Miss Dolores, and we have an amazing CEO, a woman, Miss Luann, and she's just a rock star. She just won.
I was going to say
the 2022 Business Journal CEO of the Year, and we're so proud of her.
That's great. It's impressive as well. It's very impressive. They didn't give it to her; she earned it.
That's right. She earned it.
Speaks volumes for her.
She makes those tough decisions.
Yeah, she does.
New Orleans
privileged.
Lady. New Orleans Lady. That's her song.
Lady. That's
right.
Every time she walks in, I've got to, even from mid song, I'll start scrolling, click that song. New Orleans Lady.
I try to be a little more subtle and wait a couple songs.
No, I just go ahead and get.
That's funny.
I go ahead when she walks in. I'm like, I'm going to throw it out there. She likes that song because Luann works that room too. She'll kind of come in and then I can be like, oh, I'm going to play the next song, but then she's gone. I'm like, shoot. So when I see that blonde hair, I'm like, click.
Perfect.
So, since this is a music podcast, I want to ask you, what's music that you like? What do you listen to? Like when you're not, I know you book us.
Away from us.
Away from
now in my car, of course, I think I'm Whitney Houston. I am not. I am not.
I can hear that voice coming
I am
from
not
you.
Adele. I am not Whitney Houston. But I think I listen to a nice range of, from blues to R&B to the new age stuff that's out now to old rock and roll. My husband is a wealth of information for old rock and roll.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yes,
we talked about that. We talked about that. Yeah,
oh,
me and your husband.
Awesome.
Because what's funny is the drummer, I think for Creed, has a album out that is like Frank Sinatra tunes. Did
really?
You know that?
What?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I think it's the drummer from Creed. I'm going to verify that. And when you hear him sing, you're going to go, oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I'm excited to hear that. I love
I'll
stuff
be
like
listening
that.
to that on the way home.
Heck yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Well, it goes to show, whether it's that particular musician, Rod Stewart, other ones, once the apex of their career or the pinnacle of their popularity, they're not quite as hungry or not trying. They have power and they have leverage. They always seem to record the standards. They go back to the standards because there's a reason they're the standards, and it's universal and it's forever, infinity, that those songs will stand the test of time. And that's a perfect example. And it's like Jesse and me going, what? That's just insane. But it isn't. And so he's also, like Jesse does, with a different demographic, is turning on his age group or those people to that music that probably wouldn't really pursue it. But here it is, one of their favorite musicians. You included.
I appreciate it.
Handsome.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Do I need to leave?
The High Note Podcast will return after these messages.
With these really low.
No, I do have a question for you.
That'll be edited out.
When you're when you're not doing the marketing and the entertainment directing, when you're off, what do you like to do?
Sleep.
I can imagine.
Okay, I like that. But didn't you go on a vacation or something recently? What'd you do recently?
Recently, we took a trip to New York.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
We had a wonderful trip, rode the carriage through Central Park, went to Radio City.
Had you been before?
Never.
Oh.
It was delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Radio City Musical, saw the Rockettes.
So you did it right.
Went to the Broadway show, saw the Life of Michael Jackson.
Oh, really?
It's so amazing, these entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... It was incredible. What an incredible experience. We were there for, I think, 72 hours. Fastest trip ever. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So when Steph and I went, so I am not big city type. So when I went to New York City, we went right before we had our kids. Like we went and we went to Washington and then went all the way up to Cape Cod and back. But New York City was one of our stops and really crowded. And it was very, I got anxiety.
Did it get to you?
Oh, it got to me. But there were a couple highlights. The Met Museum. Did you go to the Met Museum?
Oh, yeah.
The Met Museum was awesome. And then the 9/11 Museum.
Yeah, I went there.
No, we did not get there. We went to Grand Central Station, Times Square, but we did not get down in that area.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to see all.
Yes,
I mean, New York City is
a sight.
When you have that fast of a trip, like it's, and ours was fast too. And we only pick up certain things, and but there's so much to do. It's a lot, but I mean, it's American culture and history
absolutely.
All in one spot.
All in one spot.
I've been fortunate to go many times to New York, and
really?
yes, and this wasn't until I was in my 30s, and but all through my 20s and all, and before that, because New York, music and stuff. My whole life evolved around music. It's still, and the Yankees, the New York Yankees. I know some Red Sox fans probably won't like that, but anyway, but it's just so much to see and experience. Subway in itself is an experience, but I always say, I love going to New York. I love leaving New York. I can leave it behind, like Jesse's talking about. It's so much. It's so overwhelming. I can't imagine being in that every day. But culturally speaking, New York City. That's something. I mean, it's just so much. The museums, the Greenwich Village. Where all the artists started, folk artists, and Hendrix.
It was a bucket list. I'm telling you,
it was something.
And see, like New York City, even Cape Cod and Washington, it's amazing to see. But man, I'll tell you this. I don't know what it is about down here. Maybe because I'm born and raised, I'm just very, tied to it. But I like the pace of the Gulf Coast. I like the culture. I think we do have the best food. I mean, I know everybody goes to New Orleans for food, but man, our seafood down here,
agree.
It's hard to beat. I mean, they use a lot more butter than we do in New Orleans, but I feel like down here, we've got a really good treasure that it's being noticed now.
Yes.
I think Ocean Springs won. I know they did USA's top 100 small towns. It was number one.
Yeah.
Number two was Bay St. Louis.
Yeah.
So it's telling you like it's starting to come on the map, and we're going to start seeing. We're already starting to see, especially after COVID, like an influx of people from the west and north.
Well, I was going to say, there's a reason why so many people move down this way. A lot of snowbirds that come to experience the coast to get out of the snow from the northeast or wherever, Canada. They really like it and they stay. There's a reason for that. They like the pace as well.
Like the pace, the weather. We have hurricanes and stuff, but
we see them coming.
Right.
We do have some notice, some warning.
Exactly.
Yes. And we have 2 weeks of winter normally, if I didn't just jinx it. So
maybe.
Maybe
2 days.
2 days of winter.
Just hold your breath.
You
Tomorrow it'll be different.
You can't argue with that unless you're a snow skier.
But what are you, when it comes to music, what do you see? I mean, how many years have you been doing this, not just with the Pearl, but all around? Like, how many years would you say you've been marketing and entertainment directing? And
I would say I have been in the casino business for 30 years.
So you've seen it years. I mean, you've seen it when it started, like here.
Mm-hmm.
The evolution of people playing in casinos and just musicians itself. I mean, my dad was part of a band. I always mention them every episode just because what I know. But they used to play casinos, and they were a 5-piece band. You don't see that much anymore of these 4 or 5-piece bands at casinos. And I don't know if it's a money thing or if it's just a preference thing or if it's easier to deal with one schedule versus 5 schedules. But where do you, like, from what you've seen it evolve to? Are you attracted to that model of solos, duos? What would you say?
My personal opinion is I think it's much more intimate when it's a solo or duo inside of a building, because I feel like you're singing to me, so I feel our guests at Scarlet Pearl, whether it be inside or at Butler's, like Hank was mentioning early, watching their feet tapping, I think they feel that energy as well, from both areas, that it's more intimate, that's more of like being at your best friend's house in the living room and somebody singing and you're just all dancing together. I think that's more intimate, and more of a family environment than a band on a stage that's you can't reach. It's more like,
I was going to say that
maybe it's the distance to and from.
I think it's a culmination of it all.
Yeah,
I think it's a part of all of that. But yes, most definitely what you're saying. On the stage, it's different, and people treat it differently.
They do.
They've already got it programmed in their head of treating it differently. Whereas, at Scarlet Pearl, so many people they walk right up to you and shake your hand and like, haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, man. How you been? That kind of thing. And it's great. But yeah, you're right on it with it. That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's true.
And I love how, like, my favorite thing about where I'm singing, there's a wall. So there's like, I'm singing. So it gives somebody who's walking in the preference of if they want to be close to the music or not. But that wall, it still makes it sound like it's through the speakers. But what's fun and what I get a thrill off of is when somebody sits there and they eat their meal. And I told Hank this, like, I've studied these songs and I've sung them so many times. So naturally I want to start sounding like what it's originally sounded like. So I'll have somebody stand up and they're getting done and they'll kind of look at me and they'll look at their wife. There's somebody singing like the whole meal. They had no idea I was singing.
Yes.
And then, or either that, or if they hear like some people clapping, they pop up like, what? Yeah. To me, that's fun.
That's a compliment too.
It is. It's probably the best compliment I can get, but I get it, usually there because of that wall. And it's fun to like see people be shocked. And that gives me momentum to keep going and gives me energy to feed off of.
Absolutely. Especially when you sing happy birthday to them. They're trying to figure out how you were singing happy birthday to them through the ceiling speakers.
Well, happy birthday. I've always told that I didn't realize this, but I say hoppy.
Yes, you do.
Happy birthday. And I don't know why.
I love it. We love it.
But it's one of those things. I'll sing people birthdays or whatever, and it'll be like the 3rd or 4th year in a row. And they'll be like, come sing. They always say, come sing me happy birthday. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And then finally, people were telling me, no, you say hoppy. And I'm like, wow.
I've had servers before in the steakhouse. They asked me to sing happy birthday. They say, are you going to sing happy birthday or hoppy birthday? That's an homage
like
to
I'm
you.
German
That's
or something.
That's to you. Are you going to do it on Jesse's level or your level? It's great.
It is cool. And the food, man, the food in that restaurant too.
Boy, Jack's, he's kicked it up.
Wow.
It was great before.
Oh, yes.
But, man.
Absolutely.
Right when you open up a new casino, I remember, I really don't remember it, but I remember like, when you open something new, it's starting to get its stride or whatever.
Yeah.
But it seems like, it's not recent. It's been past couple years now where y'all's food is just to the T, man.
Killing it.
Oh, we're so fortunate to have some great product and great food and beverage staff and culinary staff that really create some wonderful dishes.
I'm serious.
Just
And now
I
the
mean,
Oaks has opened up. And
yes.
that's
The
killing it.
Is it whimsical? The whimsical.
It's very whimsical.
Very whimsical.
It's very
I like that.
whimsical, and it's so gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the best. Oh, if you haven't had the shrimp and grits with the andouille sausage, the club sandwich, the picnic salad, they just have a great menu.
The portions are good.
Yeah, the portions are solid.
real
Very
good.
healthy.
Yes.
I got my dad a $50 gift card to Scarlet Pearl for Christmas. Me and my sisters, we all went like $100 each, and we got him a whole bunch of gift cards. Because if we gave him like a gift or cash, it would always go towards the bill. And I was like, you and Mom need to do date nights. And so Scarlet Pearl was one of them, and he was so excited because he can go back to the Under the Oaks. And it was right before it reopened, so I'm pretty sure that he's already planning on doing it. But he was excited to get back to that.
Yeah, hear nothing but good things from the folks that eat over there, because they're right next to us. To me, playing there. So
So, and I don't know if you can. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell us, and if it's not, we can take it off. But what's the next stage of Scarlet Pearl? I know they're always expanding or building more or taking something and innovating it. What's the next stage for, inside the casino? If you can tell us.
Or is there anything planned?
Is there anything planned? Because I know they usually have like.
No.
Nope, you're good?
No. Not
we got
right now.
You have enough new stuff right now.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna take a breath.
Good, because I'm telling you,
right?
Because I'll tell you, it's always like there's something coming up. There's something, so that's good, and it's great. I mean, you got the VIP room, you have the Orchid room,
Orchid room. Yeah. We have the VIP lounge. The remodeled cafe. I mean, we have really done
and y'all have a
lot.
Y'all have had a hidden treasure there for a long time since opening, and it's still one of those things. Chopsticks.
Yes.
Oh,
if you like pho, y'all.
The best.
I always have people saying, the best pho is over here. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It is chopsticks inside of Scarlet Pearl, halfway to the right.
We get a food credit, and if I'm singing, we get a food credit at the steakhouse, but sometimes I will skip it and I will order some chopsticks because it's that good.
It is,
and
good.
I get that chicken and the beef in there, and it'll change your life, y'all.
The wonton pho, that will change your life.
A shrimp spring roll.
Yes,
we have become a food podcast.
I'm getting hungry.
Yes.
I wasn't hungry
too.
when I walked in.
Well, I didn't eat lunch today, so it's kind of like I'm thinking, like, shoot, maybe I should just go drive over to the chopsticks real quick after this.
Well, Vicki, are you from the area originally, or are you transplanted?
Not. I am a transplant. So when I got out of the Army back in 1989, my parents were retiring down in this area in Diamond Head, and my sister was already residing in Mobile. So this is where I came to, and then eventually the casinos opened, and that's how I got my start in the casino business. So I am basically a transplant. Yes.
Oh, you're one of us. No, you're one of us now. No doubt about it. I was wondering. I'd never asked you that before. Yeah. There again, what we were talking about earlier. People that your parents, moving down and all. So yeah, great.
When it comes to like music, I'm always referring back to music or whatever. What attracted you to
kind of what this is?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah.
High note.
That's right. That's right. What do you think? And now me and Hank have. I created the at home Christmas special during COVID when everything was locked down, and then we came out with this thing, and Hank did you did the first one was
Please Come Home for
Please
Christmas.
Come Home for Christmas, and then we did the Grinch. And I'll tell you this. Last year's Grinch was a highlight.
Yes.
Like a lot of people, we do we do the church, we do the classics, we do go into the winter festival and stuff. Right. But I've had more people comment about that Grinch performance.
Well, I think more people can relate to the Grinch
around the holidays.
Or their children.
But it's so fun to do like different settings, and we've used Scarlet Pearl twice because we've done it twice. And thank y'all for letting us do that, by the way, because I'm always texting Vicki last minute. Hey, Vicki, we've got this idea. Can we do this at the casino? And she's like, sure.
Yeah.
So,
great.
But that's been a lot of people's joy is of course seeing you at the Scarlet Pearl, and it's always cool to be able to highlight our home base. In that video.
That was a really good thing. Making it was fun, but then we did the thing where we moved it over to Butler's, and Max was pouring the fake drink, and
that was funny.
And you made the Alfred Hitchcock cameo thing, and that was. But a lot of people like it. My granddaughter, she she's 4, and she said she loved it, but when I pulled the mask off and it's me, she said, "Pops is the Grinch." And it's so we had to deal with that. It's like, well, he's not really the mean Grinch. He's the nice Grinch, but she can't say the Grinch. She says Brinch. So
that's so cute. But
yeah,
you're right.
So it had home. It had close to home as well as other people telling me about it.
What's cool is what's cool is what we can do it there too. Like there's a lot of places that'd be like no, and they wouldn't give us the time of day. But y'all have opened the doors to us many times for different things, and so.
Of course,
that's very true.
Appreciate that.
We're always trying to find a way to say yes.
That's right.
Nice.
Well, Vicki, thank you so much for joining us here.
Oh, my pleasure. What fun.
We're so glad to have you. We've been wanting to get you on, and like we tell people, it's like we had a list of people in no certain order, because we just kind of threw it out there and say, well,
they would be jealous if I was before them.
They would all be. They're all going to be, the ones after are going to be jealous of you now. So,
well, I'm just glad that we got somebody who's on the different side of the spectrum of musicians, and it's the people who,
a different point of view as well.
I love that. I love that. I think that's very important. Yeah. Not to just get a musician's point of view, but to get the whole industries.
Yes.
And somehow. So
yes.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
It's our
pleasure.
Has
truly been a blast to be here with you guys today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm Jesse Hill.
I'm Hank Berman.
And I'm Vicki Haskins.
Until next time, y'all have a great one. We will see you back on the next episode of the High Note Podcast.